Today's going to be a fun one because I have a Michelin star trained chef in the kitchen with me who's going to be teaching me and therefore us how to plate properly. Beginner, intermediate, expert.
Remember, plating is subjective, so nothing you do is wrong.
Or the other way around.
Nothing you do is right.
There we go.
Yeah, same.
Have you read the comments lately?
Spaff, we have ingredients. We have some olives, some hummus, some falafel, some cucumber, some pickles, some olive oil. We have a board, we have a knife, and we've got a selection of bowls. So pick your weapon and plate up how you would like to have a hummus bowl presented to you. So the most basic type of plating is putting food on a plate so it looks, somewhat edible. We're not thinking about textures, colours, contrasts, not thinking about how it might eat. It's just getting the food on the plate so it doesn't look like a mess.
First steps first, I've chosen a bowl.
Okay, because it's a hummus bowl.
This is a
so
hummus
you've ticked
bowl.
one thing off.
And I'm going to start with the hummus.
Right. It's all right. Whatever you do is fine.
Three is the magic number. 3 is the magic number. And everything looks better with the drizz, doesn't it?
You don't have to use everything I give you.
No, I know.
Okay.
I'm going to get rid of that one. I don't like that one.
Okay.
I don't like that one.
Okay.
I feel like that needs a ta-da. So my thinking was have hummus as the base and then have the different elements in and on the hummus, build a little bit of height where I could, stick to things like power of 3 and 6, because I just doubled 3. And I kept them separated rather than scattering, so it looked a bit neater. But I'm also wondering whether if you go for the random scatter approach, does that look better?
Are you worried that it looks a bit like a platter at a restaurant where you get each and everything separate?
I am now.
You
yes,
are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to dig into why that bowl?
A, it had to be a bowl because we're making a hummus bowl.
Okay.
B, I really like this bowl.
Okay. In that answer, you haven't considered the dish at all, have you? It needs to be a bowl, given that, and you like the bowl, but you haven't thought about what's going on it.
No.
Right. So that is the first thing we'll start with. This is plating, starting with plate or bowl. We've got a huge selection, pretty much every bowl we have in the back, various colours, different textures, patterns, sizes. And the first thing I would have done is think, what's the main ingredient? Hummus. What colour's hummus?
Beige.
What bowl have you gone for?
Beige.
So it kind of just blends in, doesn't it? Yeah. So straight away, I would have chosen something with some vibrancy and some colour.
Okay.
So we've got a lovely green bowl. Instantly, that would stand out. But then we've got cucumber as well, so green and green. Would that work? Might do. We've got the classic black here. I think Barry's favourite bowl. I think it's a Japanese style bowl, but it's a bit smaller. It's a hummus bowl. I'm thinking starter, a bit lighter. And we'll see how we go.
I think it was about here you watched me.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right, let's go. So far, the same.
So already you haven't gone for a smooth layer of the hummus. You've already built texture and height into the hummus, which is just one layer.
I'm trying to get as much, let's say, real estate as possible. At the end of the day, it's a very simple dish. So if I can take the base ingredients, do a little bit of finessing to them, and then plate it up with as much space as possible, then you can see everything and they'll marry together in a different way as well. And when you go in with a knife and fork or a spoon or a pitta, you might get a bit of each thing. So I'm going to scatter mine about rather than putting it in equal segments. So I've got some onion there, but I've noticed that, look at that, 3 onion rings. They'll look pretty as a garnish. So I'm going to take a few of those apart. And then
I didn't even think about garnish.
Well, use the basic ingredients. All we're going to do is slice them in a different way, and then instantly you've got something to draw your eye in, a different texture, rather than a full mouthful of onion in one bite.
Yeah.
Possible. So I'm going to dot these about. I'm going to keep these nice and chunky, so you can pick them up and pretend it's a crudité. And then remember I said, the key point looks good on Instagram.
Yeah.
So most people take their photos like this, right? They climb up on the table, pause everyone else is eating to, get their shot. So that's what I'm thinking about. Didn't say you couldn't. So a bit of black pepper.
Right, we're learning the rules as we go along.
No, we're not. I said nothing is off limits. Nothing is wrong. Use the board how you wish.
What's really interesting just with that is you've done 3 separate segments of pepper rather than...
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you'll go in, you might not get some. Fine, you get some of the next one. Ooh, that's different. Otherwise, everything might taste the same.
Okay.
And literally a tiny bit of olive oil over the top just for shine, because the hummus is very fatty itself with tahini and olive oil, so it doesn't need that much, and I don't want a big puddle of it around the outside.
I mean, that looks great. If I asked you to do it again, would you do it differently?
I would probably cut the large cucumber into slightly smaller pieces and then still have it going upright, get a bit more height in there.
And even knowing that if you were going to do this dish instantly again, you do it slightly differently, I think it's really, really helpful because it really proves there is no right and wrong.
Unless you're working at a massive corporate restaurant where every single plate has to look identical, you can always fiddle and change with it.
So the biggest takeouts of me for that are, number 1, colour and shape of the plate or bowl that you're going to use based on what food is going in it.
Yep.
Secondly, the height and the structure that you use to plate. So getting lots of different levels in there.
If you can.
If you can. And thirdly was not being afraid to use the same ingredients in different ways. So cut them into different shapes or put them into different places rather than thinking it all has to go together.
Exactly. Multiple ways to cut food will make it look different and it will eat differently, and we'll find that out next in the intermediate dish.
Let's move on to intermediate. Ebbers, here's some lunch. Intermediate.
Intermediate dish, something maybe more in your wheelhouse. We've got roast chicken, mash, gravy, greens, bacon and cream spinach.
And you're going to ask me to plate it up first again?
I want you to plate me dinner.
Let's see how this goes. What colour are our ingredients?
Dick.
Kind of whitey, browny, greeny, all the colours. Right.
So what are you thinking about plates now then?
Woo! I'm going to go simple, white and big.
Right.
And I'm going to try to use negative space.
I was going to bring that in later, but I'll follow your lead.
Skipped ahead to the expert stage. Off centre, off centre, off centre.
Why so many slices, Jay?
I just thought I'd do sliced chicken.
Okay, I meant the number of.
Oh, I'm just trying to make them a fairly equal girth.
Okay.
Going for shards of bacon with some height as well.
Would you prefer chopsticks or something else?
Oh, these are fine.
He tongs it into his thumb.
Service, please.
Good job. Get that into the sexies. Then we'll tear it apart. So we'll critique it. So Jay, first things first, why did you put salt on top of bacon?
It's a very good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. For the looks.
For the looks.
But bacon's salty, so it's already doing that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't really see it because it's kind of
No,
dissolved
it's kind
now.
of,
Yeah. Otherwise, I like the choice of plate. You're very right in saying that you want to give negative space, contrast. You identified brown and green, so you went with white. Big tick for that. You distributed the spinach or the creamed spinach around the plate. You didn't taste anything before you put it on the plate.
I thought that as I was sprinkling the salt.
Yeah. So the salty bacon has gone onto the salty chicken skin. You don't know the seasoning level or the flavour of the creamed spinach, so that could be really strong with horseradish. And you've distributed it, lovely. But imagine if you'd done one big one out.
Yeah.
It's not though, it's just creamed spinach. I wouldn't have cut the chicken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. As soon as you started slicing, you saw resistance against the crispy skin,
Yeah.
but you carried on ploughing through it, which kind of got the skin to fall off the chicken, but I'll show you a way of doing it so that doesn't happen. You've kept it as a breast shape or a supreme shape. That's nice, you can see what it is. But at the same time, you've kind of hidden the expensive protein.
And hidden the mash.
I did actually forget there was mash.
Yeah.
You plate it up with a spoon designed for stirring, ladling, scraping pans, not necessarily for putting food on plates.
Okay.
Yeah, but otherwise, it looks like a lovely Sunday homely roast.
Which is generally how I cook.
Yeah.
Right, show me your tips.
Okay. Plate choices.
Have I taken your plate?
You did take my plate.
Whoa!
There's only one way to go. We can go bigger,
Okay.
but we'll go with a similar sized white plate, but with a bit of brown and beige because there's already that in the dish.
So now you're looking at the colours to complement the colours of the dish.
Yeah, it will still let the food shine and pop, but you've marrying the colours, which are very simple, into the plate. So it kind of goes all the way through. If I went for that, very jarring. Like you're eating in a Moroccan restaurant, but you're eating a roast.
Yeah.
See here?
Yeah.
Using the spoon
Yeah.
to beat the mash, to get it the correct consistency so I know it's nice and smooth, and then putting the spoon down. My tools. Best thing in the kitchen are spoons.
So you're just taking the U,
Taking the U.
removing the U.
Spoon. What's like taking the knee or something like that? Everything hinges around the mash. I'm gonna beat the mash against the side of the pan, trying to get a smooth surface. See it's going smooth?
Wow, okay,
Right.
yes, yeah.
And then make a quenelle shape. So it should have a nice smooth-sided
Yep.
little that. But we all love mash, so who says you need one? Why not have two? So I've just used a spoon. Made a nice smooth side, nice shape, and now I'm gonna put food in and around without hiding all the mash. Next, I'm gonna go with my chicken as well. We've got crispy skin, right?
Yep.
Unless you've got a knife that's like a samurai sword or a serrated, really hard to cut through. Flip it over, you've got the soft underbreast.
It's simple stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, fine.
Take a little piece off, and then you've got a lovely bit of shape.
Flat and a flat edge.
Flat edge, and then you can see the whole thing. You know it's a whole chicken breast. Instantly getting loads of height.
Okay.
Okay, and then everything will just go around it, so you know it's a chicken and mash dish
Yeah,
with some veg and some greens and some bacon.
fine.
I purposely left these long and straggly
To see if I would cut them down.
to see if you can cut them down.
It's all a test.
It's all a test. Nothing will be wasted. It's all going to go on a plate, but try and make it as neat as possible. They're simple boiled vegetables. Can't really go wrong with how you put them on the plate. Spinach, another technique, really old school this. 2-spoon quenelle, put that on the side there. And then the bacon, I'm going to find the nice long pieces, and you've got height, and you keep the texture whole.
Is there now a way to set the plate down in front of the diner?
Certainly. I would say you want the main elements, the protein, facing the diner. So that's the back of the chicken where the bone sticks out. So that would be away from them. So I want to be presented there. You've got a cut face, you've got the skin, you've got the main bone, and you can see everything on the plate rather than the back of the dish. And then a very thin drizzle around. You can always put more on the side.
I mean, that looks fabulous. So much thought gone into something that you've made look incredibly simple and incredibly delicious.
And I would do it differently if I did it.
Because you can see something wrong with it, or because...
Yeah, I wouldn't put the chicken on its side, this one. I'd want that bone facing sideways and the skin going up.
But you styled it out.
I've styled it out.
It's always when you put them side to side, it makes it worse, doesn't it?
I don't say worse, apparent.
Makes it, yeah.
Yeah.
So intermediate, the three main takeouts for me, what you plated with
Okay.
is different from what you cooked with.
Yes.
So rather than a spoon, you put that to the side and then used the spoon.
Yes.
Fine. Secondly was how you protected and preserved the quality of the food by cutting it in a different way. So turning the chicken upside down so you didn't ruin the nice crispy skin like I did.
Same as I would do with a roasted bit of pork belly with crispy skin.
And the third takeout was just the positioning on the plate in terms of everything towards the middle, leaving lots of space on the outside, and plating towards the diner and what they're going to see. And I think that doesn't have a direction. You could put that down in any direction pretty much.
Yeah.
Whereas that has that direction.
I'll say also that I like to leave a bit of empty space because when you're building your fork, you want to do that on an empty bit of plate. So you want to take a bit of mash, to cut a piece of chicken, have some bacon, have some greens, and have a whole mouthful of everything together. And tasting everything together on a spoon is where we're going to move on to next in the expert plating.
Right, this is Mike's lunch.
Lunch.
And I'm going to get prepped for expert.
How?
Oh yeah. What are we making?
It's a dish of cured gurnard that's raw, sliced, with complementary purees, powders, and textures.
It's a gurnard of fish.
Gurnard's fish.
Right, fine, okay, right,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah. So with expert level, it's less about the visual, it's all about how it's eaten.
Okay.
People say plating's all about looks, but if it eats badly, as in the tastes and the textures and the organoleptic, you know what that word is? Organoleptic?
No.
How food interacts with your palate, taste and texture. If that's wrong, there's no point in putting the food on the plate in the first place.
Right.
Right? So here we've got a selection of purees, powders, micro herbs, some caviar, some vegetables, some squeezy bottles, and we're going to go through. I want you to taste them, tell me what they are, if you can, and then we'll get plating.
Okay.
Okay?
This is your washing up bowl.
No, it's not.
Sure?
Yeah.
That's a very familiar smell. It's
That
very
is, isn't
sweet.
it? Yeah. That was to put you off. Just the top.
That's a margarita.
That's a margarita.
So you've made a margarita foam.
Got margarita foam.
Right.
Right. Foams and airs are one way of bringing a textural and a visual contrast and interest to a dish.
And pretentiousness.
And not always. Not always.
Okay.
No. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, Jamie.
Fine.
I might just drink it.
Caviar. Incredibly fishy and salty.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Don't need much of that.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Acai berry powder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll leave you there.
Yep. Wow, that's strong. Bitter, sour, a bit of a spice to it as well. Again, I don't know what that is.
No, that is a smoked soy and yuzu kosho gel.
Thick sauce.
Essentially a thick sauce.
Right.
Soy sauce, very runny.
Yep.
Would go all over the plate. Fluid gel, very stable. You can put it exactly where you want it by using a little
A little bottle, okay. Again, very strong. Ooh, tangy.
That's red wine vinegar and lemon puree.
Okay.
Yeah. With a bit of pickled ginger in the background. That's where you're getting a bit of warmth.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Sesame.
Sesame.
Sesame powder.
Is it?
Yeah. And the last one, you get that.
Oh, it's like a smoked paprika yogurt.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So, in terms of strength, you know where you are.
Yep.
We've got our gurnard over here that's been cured and sliced ready for you. We have a selection of micro herbs. I've already put
Thank you.
the purees in the bottles for you. Coloured oil, herb oil that we've seen on the channel before. Got your equipment. Over to you. So you're going with the micro tweezers.
Micro tweezers.
So you've gone for a plain white plate again.
Yep.
Reasoning behind that?
So let the ingredients shine.
Why are you choosing little dots?
This is incredibly strong, so you don't need much of it. So I want a few sort of slightly bigger ones and a few slightly smaller ones as well. What's he doing? What's he doing? He's getting a smooth top. That's what he's doing.
You there?
I think I'm there.
You happy?
I think I'm fairly happy with it.
Okay, great. Well done, Joe.
That is nothing like I've ever plated anything before.
I'm going to do two in two very different styles at the same time because it's subjective.
And just why not?
Why not? And I'll probably change my mind straight away anyway,
Fine.
so I may as well do them together. So we're going big plate and a white bowl.
I didn't use the margarita foam.
No.
Was I supposed to use the margarita foam?
You don't have to use anything, Jay.
I'll use the margarita foam.
Poor margaritas. Right. Tactics, trying to put me off, eh? Cheers. So straight away, very similar plating. You lifted each piece off and put them all back down.
Yeah.
I've just picked them all up and put them in one.
Okay, fine.
Because at the end of the day, it looks very similar. And you can always just even it out like that. And there's no wrong way of plating food like this. As long as it eats well, I'm gonna fill the dish and I'm using my hands because they're clean and they're the best utensils you have. I'm gonna go on with the yogurt next because, as you said, it's very mild, so you can put a lot of it on the plate. So I want that underneath. So every mouthful has some yogurt in. Like you did, a few little blobs here and there, and I'm actually gonna go on top of the fish. So I want every mouthful of the fish to have a bit of the soy seasoning.
So you're really guiding the diner in terms of how to eat this.
Yes.
And what to eat together.
Yeah, so a lot of effort's gone into making all of these and the conceptualization of the dish, let's say. So I want them to eat it how it should be eaten. The powder, very mild, so you can be bold with it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because like you said, you couldn't discern what it was.
No.
But if it's written on the menu sesame.
You're going to want to taste sesame.
Sesame, yeah. So I'm going to dress the cucumber balls with some herb oil. And can you guess which plate this is going to go on?
I would imagine this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'll just put a few little balls on that. And then herbs.
I think they all look great. That is still the most inviting dish to me.
Okay.
I would still prefer to eat that plate of food than this style.
Yeah. I'd say that is what you'll see the majority of places now. This is very fine dining, starched tablecloths, reservations, held credit card number kind of restaurant.
Yeah. And I think that's the big takeout for me of this one is even though this is expert level and in our minds stereotypically we'd think of this as the style, that looks more inviting, you get more of it, and it's perfect for sharing, which is such a lovely way of dining with people. I've learned so much during this video and I'm so grateful to you for showing me everything. We'll see if it makes a difference next time we do a cooking battle. We'll go eat. You comment down below, let us know, did you enjoy this video and what would you like to see Kush give us a masterclass in next?
Cocktails.
Oh.
I'm not good at them, but it'll be fun.